I think that we need to do better at not running from ourselves. I feel like in a lot of ways we run from life. Like we run from expectation. We run from anything that has to do with us that, you know, we feel doesn't resonate with us at the moment. And what I'm realizing is we have to focus on, creating a life we don't want to run from. And part of that comes with, first of all, accepting how things are, accepting how the world is, accepting how you currently are in a sense. Knowing how you interact with the world and knowing what you need to do in order to become in harmony. Because I'm realizing that, the world's not, it's going to be in harmony as long as you're at harmony with it. You know, it's not something that's going to just bend to our every whim, at least to a degree that we can see. I think that a lot of stress needs to, not stress, but a lot of attention needs to be placed in our acceptance of self and growth. Realizing that we have to be present enough to somewhat alter ourselves. And I don't necessarily view that as a something like fake to the self. I just view it as something as like being fluid, being like water, not necessarily holding yourself in a cup of your own expression, but allowing yourself to be any way that you see fit, you know, as it pertains to the circumstance. And when I say this, I don't necessarily mean just in a sense of self, like not changing who you are entirely in a matter of seconds just to fit into a situation, but in terms of our comfort in a confidence in ourself, our expression of self. Doing that in a way that's befitting of any situation you find yourself in. And I feel like that's very important as it pertains to a life in general. Um, and creating a life that, you don't want to run from. I think you have to stop running from your past. You know, I feel like we fail to acknowledge the present in our constant effort to forget the past. The past is going to be there. It has to be accepted. Whatever happened, happened. It's no longer happening. I feel like the more we run from it, the more we treat it like it's something that's still pertinent, the more it is. The past only exists as much as your memory allows it, as much as your mind keeps bringing it up, and as much as you keep reacting to it. You know, what has happened is happening. You have to accept that. I think a lot of things come after acceptance, and yourself is one of them. Like, if you can't accept the way you were in the past, how can you acknowledge who you are now? And how can you create a better future? If you're constantly hiding from the parts of yourself that seek out change, how are you going to change? How are you going to become a better person if you're hiding from the parts of yourself that you actually need to better? It doesn't really make sense in my head the way that we all try to attain betterment, though we all try to become something, bigger than ourselves, better than ourselves, without acknowledging the parts of ourselves that we actually need to make better. Creating a life you don't want to run from is about trusting. Trusting yourself to do whatever you need to do in any situation. Trusting yourself in the sense that, you're making good on the promises you made to yourself. Like if you told yourself, oh, I'm gonna work out every day this summer, or at least 4 days this summer, actually doing it. And I feel like that's what builds confidence of self, is constantly being there for yourself. Constantly understanding that, your self love and your expression has to be dictated by you. It can't be dictated by someone else. And like you can't hear a specific application. You have to make a specific application. You have to make it personal. When it comes to our improvement and whatever lessons you get from the world. If you don't make it personal, if you don't make it inherent to your character, then it ceases to be important. You know, what I'm realizing is, you kind of have two sides to you. Your embodiment, your whatever's inside, and then your expression. And I think you can control how you express yourself, but you don't control how your embodiment is, how you are inside. You can alter it by like trying to be better and changing those little aspects of it. But what I'm realizing is you have to accept it before you can do anything to it. Like, you can't start creating change until you actually have this thing in your possession. Because if it's still being dictated by the past, the future, other people, other circumstances, then how are you the one who actually possesses it? How do you actually have yourself? And that's another thing. Because whenever people aggravate me or like a circumstance aggravates me, then I'm realizing that then I become that circumstance. And that circumstance becomes something that's dictating me, controlling me. It's become who I am. And why would I want to live like that? Why would I want to live in a world that's not, where I can't even control myself? And I think that's part of the reason why I started doing any of this or meditating or trying to get better overall, is because I think everyone has parts of themselves they want to run from. They have parts of themselves they want to make better. They have, you know, a realization of their potential, and they do it maybe subconsciously, but I think we all deep down know we can be better. We know that change can happen. We just have to actually make the effort to do so. It's not something that happens overnight. Change takes time, but time is relative. It takes as much time as your mind makes it. It takes as much time as you make it. And in my experience, I feel like recently it's been very easy because I feel like I've been able to grasp my definition in its absence. And what I mean by that is realizing that, if anyone dictates who I am, it's going to be me. And, if anyone dictates my path, it's going to be me. And what I'm realizing is I keep saying, I think I said this in my last video, but it's not the path that needs affirmation. It's the self. It's you. You need to affirm who you are as a person, whether or not you like exactly how you are now. Sometimes you have to love yourself into being better. Sometimes you have to love yourself enough to let go of those negative parts that you hold on to so close. Once you become an embodiment of that mentality that you do love yourself, then you're going to start to fall in place. If you give yourself affirmation, and you'll realize that there is no limit to what you can become. There's no limit to who you are. Everything you need, you want, you desire is already within you now. And it's just about a matter of, making it real in the physical. You can get a lot of lessons from the internet. You can get a lot of lessons from books. And it wasn't until I actually tried to apply these things that I actually saw change. In creating a life that you don't want to run from, you have to be okay where you are. You don't create it. You create it right now. It's a right now thing. It's a happening. It's not in the future I'll be more comfortable. It's I have to be comfortable now to be comfortable in the future. And I think a lot of us don't realize that because we place so much power into our future selves without realizing all the power lies within the present. All the power that we have is at our disposal right now. It's not anywhere else. And the more we keep displacing it in the past and future, the more we don't have it. The more we cease. And I feel like fully complete, not fully complete people, but people who contain a lot of depth that we all do. But I feel like the most successful people are just aware of it. They're aware that they can do anything they put their mind to as long as they put their mind to it and actually act like it. And of course, there's circumstances. Sometimes it really doesn't work. But that doesn't mean you can't do anything else. I feel like sometimes we look for ourselves in specific instantiations of the world's success, when success has many forms. And I like to think of my success as just being more of myself. And I feel like if everyone just committed themselves to trying to be better, making it part of their life to be better, then their success would not be quantified. It would not be material, would not be stuck in a world where it can be stripped away. How can anything be yours if it can be taken? It's not you. It can't be carried with you everywhere you go. The only thing that you have on you at all times is yourself. And that's why I feel like if you invest your value in that, you invest your knowledge, your time, your effort, your devotion into that, then you'll never be a failure because you have yourself. If you have yourself under your command, then nothing else is going to control you. You have to realize that you are the thing that gives everything power, not anything else. You give power to your currency over you to sway your emotions. Like, if you're broke, you're going to be sad. No. I mean, like, to some extent, yes, get your money up, but realize that there's more to life than that. Realize that, money's not the thing that makes you happy. It's the things you do with it sometimes. And sometimes it just gives you freedom to, figure out yourself more. And I feel like if anything, it should be used for that purpose. But regardless of which, because that's kind of off topic to the subject and creating a life that you don't want to run from. It's just about not running from yourself. Because you're not running from life. You're running from your reaction to it. You're not running from anything but yourself, but your relationship. You know, how you see yourself interacting with the world and whether or not you like it. Like I said, everyone's living in their own personal heaven or hell. You just have to be intent with which one you want to live in. Whether or not you want to wake up suffering or whether or not you want to go out, happy. Because it all happens all at once. Just like you could be happy one day, you could be sad the next. You could be happy today and sad in 2 minutes. I think the entire point and the entire idea of it is to get a grasp on what's happening. Get a grasp on what's happening to you and what sways your emotions in the biggest way and how to control that better. It's a lot of trial and error. What I'm coming to realize, it's not necessarily a single pointed thing, because sometimes things get under your skin some days when they shouldn't. But it's about sitting down with yourself and being able to realize that, this doesn't have to be me right now, or I don't have to express myself in this way, or constantly trying to remind yourself that you are more than these situations that you constantly put yourself in. I think if everyone understood how vast they were as people, or how much potential or how much freedom they can have of mind, they would all try to get it. And I feel like that's why I'm sort of positive that everyone's starting to sort of get into themselves, like getting back out into nature, doing stuff like that in order to, feel more like yourself and become more connected. Realize that you're not just this person, but you represent all people all at once in a way. A lot of people act like a person when they're really people. Like it's not just you, and no man's a one man show, but that's not to say don't take care of yourself, but be mindful of what you do. Sometimes you have to take care of yourself in a way that's not harmful to others. And you should find happiness in that too. Like, it's like you're helping yourself by helping others around you. And by that, transitive property, they're helping you. It's just about realizing your influence, your impact, and how much you impact yourself with your thoughts and in your action. And creating a life that you don't want to run from. You just have to be mindful while you're making it. And if you made it this far into the video, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed the cornrows for how long they were in, because they're definitely coming out. I can't do this anymore. Otherwise, I am planning on making an outdoor podcast on my other channel. If y'all haven't subscribed to it yet, I don't think I've dropped the link yet. But ironically, it's called Pondering Profoundly, I think, or Pondering Profound, because it's not so much about the deep thought nature of it. It's just how profound pondering is like deep thought. It's like thinking deeply about specific stuff, whatever people want to talk about. So hope you guys enjoy that when it comes out. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you didn't, I did. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. Make sure you're being great. Make sure you're telling yourself what you need to do. Make sure you're trying to create something that's sort of beyond yourself, but within it at the same time. Because if you aren't within, you're without. So, yeah. Thank you.